Okay. I'm tough, man. I recover. Okay. You guys will be too. And when the connective kind of thing goes, and I'm in a more balanced position, it works in a kind of like a transmitter receiver kind of thing, and I'm one of those top transmitter kind of things and stuff like that. You know, we can do the whole D's eyes thing with all of us doing this stuff together, and when you don't have to see me, you don't have to look upon me. It's a spiritual thing, right? Okay, so we don't need big crowds to come see Ralph, the nephew of Jesus. We don't need that. All we need to do is just cut down on the corp, realize, just like the Muslims say, that he is a man, okay, and that he had the right message, the right mathematical abilities, and the right abilities given to him by God to help lead us to a more peaceful, intelligent existence. Muhammad is not better than the rest of us, and he is not the final proof, and he is not the greatest of all the prophets. He has the greatest perspective from his perspective, and then henceforth, then technically you guys could all say that I'm greater than Muhammad, which is complete bull crap. I'm nothing without Muhammad, I'm nothing without Moses and Jesus and all the rest, and that's what they're saying. It's misunderstood translation and comprehension and understanding. There's no way in heaven or hell that Muhammad would say that he was a better Messiah or prophet than Jesus of Nazareth. I know it, you know it, the American people know it, and everybody in the Middle East knows it. Muhammad would never say he was a better prophet or Messiah than Jesus, and Jesus would never say he was a better prophet or Messiah than David or Moses, who led the way for him, and that he learned from their mistakes, and he stood on their shoulders in order to learn how to do better, as Job and Jonah and Lot and the rest. None of us are that arrogant, none of us are that stupid, and none of you should be that stupid, because we never left you that kind of example. In the Quran it says that God is eternal, and that the voice is never quiet, so there is never a final proof of God and never a final messenger. Just as long as there is no end of time, it would just be the end of days on earth. We'll have to see how that works. Use your science and your intelligence to correlate together, stuff like that, to help put organic components together to live here and be ready in case there's any kind of universal shifts that you have to go somewhere else to continue your life's sacrifice. That's what's discussed in the book of Revelation, and that's what we leave with you, and that's what it is. So it's science and religion all correlating together, because all things are relative, and it's omnipotent, omnipresent. Get it? Okay. So and we're all good, all right? Just remember, yeah, I've seen it now, and I've had to this weekend to look at it. You hate me, and I don't like you. Okay? And so that's just, since we've got this into this, I hate what you do, and I hate what's been done, and I hate the continuation of it. So in order to me not feel like I hate you, so I just don't like you too much, and you guys can ease that hate, I back off. I become marginalized as far as a public figure. You guys have limited access to me. You people in leadership positions and celebrity positions, you have great responsibility and great influence. I mean, great influence, and with that great influence and abilities, you have great responsibility. So I'll be here to help. You won't have to take me as much as a public figure as anything. This is just the way you guys wanted it. I'm not going in your spin doctor shit, and I'm not going to go with your publicity shit, and I'm not going to go as long as you guys are doing this whole market thing and promoting your bullshit that is destroying the planet. You hate me for it, but I don't like you for it. I hate you. I resent you for trying to put me into that kind of position and trying to use me as a fucking market tool to create things that celebrate yourself and which are destroying yourself and destroying everybody, destroying the world for your children, and you really don't care to do is right. But you do now care, because I'm able to point it out to you and I don't get off, and I'm a mean-ass little fucking bulldog that you hate, and I'm glad you hate me, because I don't like you and I don't like what you become and I don't like what you do. So you're just going to have to hate me, and that's just, I can live with this, because I know in the future you won't, and I know in the future I'll like you. Okay? So that's a good, it's a good result. Even though momentarily and temporarily it's extraordinarily excruciatingly painful and goes in correct contrast of everything I thought I ever wanted. But I want end results, and I want peace, and I want you to save the world for the children and yourself, and I want you to be able to look decent doing it, and I don't want you to have to sit around hating me all the time, and I don't want to not like you. So it's kind of like maybe just, the thief in the night, out of sight, out of mind. I just kind of out of sight, out of mind it. You guys get your stuff together. I'm able to quietly help off from a more secure, quiet location everything's all good, right? That's just the way I see it, man. I mean, you guys got the money and the resources to do that. Let's just go do this. Let's just don't. It sounds like a great deal. Let's just go do it. Let's just don't fuck around with it. Just show, give me a chance to go see my kids, kind of give them a brief explanation of kind of what's happening, and give my Katie Bug and my Gracie a snuggle. Let the Fabres PR themselves and fix themselves, because I'll be so marginalized that they can just start fixing themselves. Keep a close eye on them. They pull any shit like they did with Natalie and Amy. Take their dick, take his dick off, chop it off, and smack it to him, and take his nuts off and hang them around his neck, and tell him, have some balls and tell Barbara to stop being such a mean, abusive little bitch. You can stop. You just need your ass kicked hard enough, and I think you did. And Amy, control that fucking thing. I know you weren't taught to, but you can do it. This should be publicly embarrassing enough, and this was enough embarrassment, and do it. And then the rest of you, with all your fucking egos and stuff like that, this was enough public embarrassment. It took it to the right extreme, and now control your fucking self and stop celebrating all the stupid shit you do, because I'm fucking sick of watching it. Because it just makes me think you're way better than this. You're way more capable than this. You have so much more potential. You're not this limited. You're not this shallow. You're deeper than this. You're more beautiful than this. I've known you before. I've felt you before. And I've seen you before. And I know you're so much more capable. And I saw you're so much more beautiful. You have to go within the depths of your soul, re-find yourself, rediscover yourself, and reinvent yourself, and re-explore yourself, and be more creative, because you're severely limiting yourself with all this sick, opulent, bought-in celebrity stupidity that you are so happy with, which is really making the world miserable, making you miserable, and making it a class system of hierarchy and oligarchy and bullshit and the whole nine yards. And the same with all you demagogue little spiritual teacher wannabes, from the Wayne Dyers to the Eckhart Tolles, all that stuff and everything like that. Put your books down, shut up, and follow me. But you can do it quietly, and you can take a lot of credit for it, because I connected to you, and a lot of these ideas were connective, collective, intelligent observations and understandings connecting to you to help correct a lot of the things that you're doing that are wrong, because you can sit down and look at it now. Now, they tell someone how many books for cutting down. It's just stupid. I said, yeah, it is. It's very stupid. Please don't do it anymore. Okay, it's working together through me. I'm the sword, not the wet noodle, and I cut through the crap. And that's what I do. Okay, son of a plumber, and worked with meat cutters, and worked with the Air Force, with the armed services. Fly, air, land, and sea, bring it all down to protect the people from crazy people like you and me. I am a soldier. I am a servant of God. And this is what I do. And like I said, I don't care if you hate me. I can't care if you hate me, because I adore you. And if you never want to touch me or see me, I'm all right with that. Right now, I guess you just can't handle it. But I guess, I can't like you for what you did. I mean, it was horrible. When I sit back and look at all the setups and everybody just sitting back and watching, and what was going to happen to me and what happened to my kids, and you guys just didn't care and sat back and watched it happen. Maybe you did care. I think you did care, but you cared more about your own kids than you did mine. And I cared about your kids, apparently, as much as my own, and in some ways it seemed like even more, because I was taking the chance to save the world for everybody's kids, and you guys weren't giving a fuck about what happened to me and mine. And it's just the way it worked out. I know you're afraid. I know you're under duress, but you cling to your flesh more than you cling to your morals and your soul. And so you made a mistake. Now get over it. Now pick yourself up and start doing it right. Sound like a plan? No one's beyond redemption. I forgive you. I love you. I'm not mad at you. I just don't like you. And you hate me. But you hate me because you hate you. Because you sat back. It's the whole thing with the two monks. I told you about that one, guy, that we read it the other day, but I didn't do it publicly. There's two monks, okay, and they're going from their monastery to a bigger village to get some more supplies for the monastery. They cross a river, and then on the way back, they're coming back, and it's gotten warmer, and the snows from the mountains have made the river more difficult to cross. And there's an old lady there with her burden. She went to go get some food for her grandchildren on the other side of that river too, out towards where that area in the monastery. She's crying. She doesn't think she can make it back to her grandchildren, and they're all alone. And these two monks have made a vow never to touch a woman. One monk looks at the other monk, hands him his load from they're strong, virile men that can do this. They can cross it. and carrying big loads. So he hands the other monk his load across this river. He picks up the lady, an old woman, and her load, and they walk across the river. He sets her down, gets the other half of the other monk's load. They walk back to the monastery. Now the monk that didn't carry the woman is just like all the way back to the monastery. It's just, oh my God, he broke his vow. Oh my God. They get back, they set their stuff down. He's still doing that. The other guy's, of course, he's intelligent enough to, what's bothering you, my brother? And he's like, you broke your vow and carried that woman. He goes, yeah, and I put her down by the river, and you're still carrying her. Now, did the other monk, was he upset because the other guy broke his vows, or was he upset because he didn't do the right thing like the other monk did? Okay? Me personally, I think he was probably more upset because he didn't do the right thing. Because the vow was not to touch a woman in lust and be, and stuff. But it didn't, their vow is, to be compassionate, intelligent, loving, kind. And that's what monks do. And the one monk followed his vows to the letter, and the other to the intent. And the intent is more important. There was a story in the parable of Juan and Jesus about intent and letter, people. You have to follow the letter of the law, not the intent of the law. He didn't pick her up to rape her or have sexual for her or be sexually aroused by her. He picked her up to be compassionate, to get her on the other side of the river so she could take food to her grandchildren. It's beautiful. Me personally, I could do that and no problems. I have no problems with it. But I'm not going to take a vow not to touch a woman. I reproduce and I'm fruitful and multiply. I'm an Israelite. And I would love to have a woman to be able to pick up and carry across the river and make love to on the other side. I ain't stupid. I know forms of birth management and birth control management that are humane and intelligent, and I understand how exponential growth has to be managed and controlled in the most loving and intelligent of fashions, and I'm all right with that. But I'm happy with the kids that we got here. I want to teach them well so they don't exponentially reproduce in an imaginary crystallized world where they'll all have things to provide for them when they're not managing their own emotions, resources, and intelligence. I think it's covered in the Gospels many times. Book of Leviticus to a bunch of the others, how to manage. Muhammad does it too. Shouldn't have any more wives than you can afford, and consequently shouldn't have any more children than you can afford. That's just common sense. So you manage your flock, you manage your herd, but you do it in a humane, intelligent, educational way, not in a way where it's like, we'll just have to have mass wars against each other, tribalize and secularize, and make this world a horrible place to try to sleep in, live in, and have fellowship in, because we're not intelligent enough to comprehend and understand that we have to manage our resources and manage our population because of exponential growth and resource management. It's just intelligence. So I know that sounds awfully scientific, but I think it's also very romantic to try to just reproduce in an intelligent way that you have the resources for your children so they can live a proper, loving, provided for life, because I think that's just romantically beautiful. All right, I'm going to go, guys. I'm going to go relax. It's still early in the morning, and I can't leave here till 12 because the library doesn't open till 1. And I love you very much, and I'm sorry you hate me, and sorry I don't like a lot of you, but I do adore you. And I hope maybe in time you'll learn to maybe, tolerate me a little better. All right? I love you too. Blessings and peace.